Good morning. How the devil are you doing this fine day? Me? Well, after what felt like 1,000 days of sweltering heat, we finally got some rain here at Demolition News Towers. 1 minute to 3 this morning, the sky lit up so brightly it roused me from my slumbers, which takes some doing, I have to say. A few minutes later, the heavens opened and it's been tipping it down ever since. Never thought I'd see the day when I'd be grateful for rain. And it's not just rain I'm thankful for today. There I was yesterday afternoon, putting today's show together. I'm wondering what I might make the lead story. Just then, I had a message coming from our man Mick, pointing to me to another online video about the challenge of recycling used electric vehicle batteries. So rather than talking about it, I thought I'd share that film with you in just a minute. Before we get to that, a very brief aside. After yesterday's show, I popped down to my local cafe for a sausage sandwich and a cup of tea, as one does. I figured I'd earned it. Anyway, while I was there, wiping ketchup from my beard, a young guy walked in. He looked like he lived in a gym. Big arms, big chest, tight t-shirt. You know the type. So he goes up to the counter and he orders, now get this, a tuna fish and cheese omelette with mixed peppers. Now, my wife used to run a cafe, and she had plenty of tales of unusual sandwich fillings. My personal favourite was Marmite and banana. But a tuna fish and cheese omelette mid-morning, new one on me. And that has actually inspired our question of the day. So without further ado, let me roll the intro, post that question of the day, and get this show on the road. Welcome to the Breakfast Show. I'm your host, Mark Anthony. It is Thursday, the 25th of August, and as that remarkably persistent guy just said, welcome to the Breakfast Show. I am your host, Mark Anthony. In today's show, the environmental impact of protecting the environment. Volvo showcases the latest additions to its excavator lineup and the electrification of quick couplers. Plus, the former home of two Las Vegas magicians is set to disappear. And we'll get to all that in just a second. But first, let's see who among the rich and the shameless will be celebrating a birthday on this day of days. Happy birthday! And it's many happy returns to Ivan the Terrible. I've always wondered if there was another Ivan at the same time who was actually quite nice. So they just called this one the Terrible, just so they could tell them apart. If anyone knows, I'd love to hear about it. Happy birthday also to West Side Story composer Leonard Bernstein, to author Frederick Forsyth, and to Kiss guitarist, him with a big tongue, Gene Simmons, to Judas Priest singer Rob Halford, singer and songwriter Elvis Costello, movie director Tim Burton, and to the man now known as Miley's dad, Billy Ray Cyrus. But far more importantly, a very happy birthday to the original and still the very best James Bond. To an actor who, over the years, portrayed an Irish police officer, a Russian submarine captain, a Spanish immortal, and most famously, an English spy. And he did them all with a Scottish accent. Happy birthday, happy heavenly birthday to the late, great Mr. Sean Connery. Many happy returns to them, one and all. The subject of the electrification of construction equipment is like a particularly deep rabbit hole filled with all manner of twists and turns. On the face of it, switching diesel for electric sounds terrific and a great benefit to the environment. But then we had questions about how environmentally friendly electric machines really were if they were drawing power from fossil-fueled power stations. There were questions about charging times and the amount of work you might achieve on a single charge. And then just last week, we dedicated an entire video to the subject of electric machine residual values. And yet we still haven't reached the bottom of the electrification rabbit hole. I'm about to play you that video that I mentioned earlier, sent to me by our regular contributor, our man Mick. I won't tell you any more because the film largely speaks for itself. So take a look at this and let's have a chat about it afterwards.
This is called black mass. It's made of rare metals recycled from lithium-ion batteries, the kind that power most smartphones, laptops, and electric cars. Less than half of these ever get recycled. Electric cars are supposed to help the planet, but could their batteries create the next trash problem? And why are those batteries so difficult to recycle? The batteries from traditional gas-powered cars, called lead-acid batteries, are made mostly of, well, lead. And they're highly toxic if they end up in a landfill. But in the US, strict laws in most states mean that almost 100% of them get recycled. Most electric cars, on the other hand, use lithium-ion batteries. They're not nearly as toxic as lead-acid batteries, but they're much bigger. And sometimes, lithium-ion batteries explode.
A lot of companies have shied away typically from handling the material because of that core safety challenge.
Li-Cycle's founders started the company in 2016 to find a safer way to deal with this waste stream and to capitalize on a growing market.
We saw recycling as the glaring hole in the supply chain.
Only about 5% of cars sold globally in 2020 were electric, and these batteries will last about 10 years. By that time, there could be almost 100 Eiffel Towers worth of used-up lithium-ion batteries to recycle.
Many people think, isn't recycling just needed like 10 years from now?
And the problem is already here in the form of leftover scrap and rejects from battery factories.
There is a tsunami coming at us.
And the process is the same one used to recycle smaller batteries from phones and laptops. One of the first steps is dumping the batteries onto tables to shake off a flame-retardant packing material called vermiculite.
We'll tip it up onto the first screen and we'll remove that vermiculite material before it goes onto our first feed conveyor.
Companies make batteries in different ways, but the founders say they found one recycling method that can handle them all. And they can process large electric car batteries with almost no disassembly.
Other groups will typically dismantle manually to get to a cell level. At that sort of scale of a pack, you have potentially thousands of cells.
Instead of that, this system slices lithium-ion batteries into confetti-like shreds. Because these batteries can catch on fire under pressure, you can't just throw them into any old shredder.
When you crush a lithium-ion battery, say in a device, it short circuits. And that short circuiting is what can drive a thermal event, aka fire.
So how does Li-Cycle shred the batteries without blowing them up? The founders keep some of the details secret, but a key part is the liquid that's hidden inside this shredding system.
There's no oxygen there. Without oxygen, there's no fire.
That liquid also helps separate the plastic, which most recyclers just burn away.
As the batteries are being broken up, the low-density plastic is floating up to the top. We separate it out, we bag it, ready for our customers.
Li-Cycle plans to have this plastic recycled at some point, but wouldn't tell us where it currently goes. Machines separate what's left in the system into two categories: metallic foil and black mass.
So behind me, we're bagging that metallic foil, and we sell this for the copper content as well as the precious metals.
The most valuable metals are in the black mass.
Black mass contains the nickel, the cobalt, manganese, graphite, lithium, etc.
Experts say that if current trends continue, the world could run low on battery metals like nickel and manganese in less than a decade. 1 metric ton of black mass, the amount in each of these bags, is worth about $3,500. Chemical treatments can separate the rare metals out of it, but Li-Cycle's chemical facilities aren't up and running yet. So for now it has to ship the black mass to a smelter. Smelting uses chemicals and extremely high temperatures to purify metals. It requires a lot of energy and creates pollution. This method gets nickel and cobalt from the black mass, but the rest of it goes to waste.
They can't recover the lithium, they can't recover the graphite, so there's a lot of value that's left behind.
Li-Cycle's not alone. Most lithium-ion battery recyclers don't recover lithium. But the founders say they're building another plant next to this one that will recover everything. This could reduce the need for mining, which contributes to global warming, contaminates soil, and can involve unethical labor practices. Once the company is recovering all the metals, for every ton of batteries recycled, the founders say they will avoid 5 tons of CO2 emissions that would have come from mining new metals. And they say recycled metals are cheaper than mined ones, too. This could lower the cost of electric cars. Which, experts say, is a good thing, because even though the batteries take a toll on the environment, electric cars are still better for the planet than traditional ones.
EVs are much more efficient than they were 5-10 years ago. It's better for the environment from a greenhouse gas perspective than driving an internal combustion engine car, because we've seen all these performance improvements both at the vehicle level and in our electricity grid.
Right now, Li-Cycle processes about 10,000 tons of batteries per year.
That's roughly equivalent to about 30,000 electric vehicle equivalent per year.
That's a fraction of the projected 550 million electric cars on the road by 2040. But it has plans to scale up and build more recycling plants like this one, right next to factories that make batteries.
When you scale that across the global application, it really allows for lithium-ion batteries to support this transition into a more sustainable future.
So just to be clear, we could run out of lithium in the next decade. Where will that leave the electrification campaign? And there is a certain irony that a paradigm shift designed to reduce our environmental impact might actually cause an entirely new environmental impact all of its own. I'm sure this will be a topic for further discussion in today's after-show chat. And I don't want to overstate things, but humanity has fallen for these new dawn energy solutions in the past. We were once told that nuclear power was our salvation. 3 Mile Island, Chernobyl and Fukushima rather suggest otherwise. Just one other very quick point. Given that we are only now discovering the potential downside of electrification, is now a good time to talk about any negative impact of a switch to hydrogen? No? Too soon? Okay then.
The Miller GT series heralds a new era of unrivaled power and cutting-edge intelligent coupler technology, increasing job site safety, machine versatility, and productivity. It's the added versatility that you need at the value you can afford. To find out more, visit millergroundbreaking.com.
Now, I know you all think that my recent trip to the Volvo headquarters in Sweden was a bit of a jolly, an opportunity for a bunch of overpaid and underworked influencer types to sit around, drink beer and compare cameras and microphones. All of that's true, of course, but we were also there as a precursor to the numerous Volvo days that followed after we had departed, and those Volvo days were used to showcase the very latest models in the Volvo product line. Products like excavators.
Hello, I'm standing here now with my good colleague from Koms, Germany. Welcome, and please introduce yourself.
Hi, Annike, welcome here in Eskilstuna. So my name is Ottmar Kirsch. I'm working in Region Europe International as a product manager for excavators.
And we are here now because you want to give us some insight in benefits, some facelifts, and some new features that have been introduced in the excavator range, right?
Yes, definitely. That's why we are here. So in the back of me we have our new facelift machines, EC250E, EC300E, and on top, developing these facelift machines, we introduced the new 35-ton crawler excavator at the same time. These 3 machines having the new Volvo engine, D8M engine, 8-liter Volvo engine, and a lot of new features like a new design of the counterweight, an Epsilon design with an embedded camera. We have the 3-point side access for safety, and we have a lot of other options what you are able to order with the machine, like Dig Assist, which supports the operator to be more efficient. We have active control, semi-autonomous control of the machine. We have a hybrid option, which gives you a 15% less fuel consumption on the machine. Wow. And a lot of settings the operator can do by himself to be more efficient with the machine in the cab.
That's fantastic. That's a long list of enhancements, I should say. But as I understand now, we've only spoken about the crawler excavator range. As I understand behind me, we have also a new addition to our wheeled excavator range, right?
You're absolutely right. In the back you see here our new developed EWR130E, which is specially developed and built to work in confined areas. The machine weight is between 12.9 and 14.3 ton, and the machine has a lot of new features. It is have a really short rear swing radius and a really short front swing radius, and a lot of new options like a 4-wheel steering to more versatile with the machine to working in these confined areas. We as well can sell this machine with a lot of options like a divided plate, which have special options you can use whenever you want. You have Dig Assist as well available on this machine. So that is really that machine which is specially built for work in confined areas.
Thank you very much, Otmar. And the list is long and there's a lot of benefits and features that we have to remember. But if I want to give you a small challenge now from this long list, please give me the 3 major benefits and features that you want to lift and that we have to remember when we leave here today.
So what is quite important on the crawler excavators is our new engine, the Volvo engine in the machine, the new safety features and the operator options they can select, which gives them a lot of opinions to do what they can do with the machine. On the wheeled excavator, as I mentioned before, it is definitely built to work in confined area. It has an incredible stability with the small compactness of the machine. It's unbelievably good.
Thank you so much. Well, there you have it.
They really do make exceedingly good excavators. I'm sure I got that from somewhere. There will be a bit more Volvo, just a smidgen, a soupçon, if you will, right after this. As we discussed at the top of the show, the electrification of construction equipment should be simply a matter of switching a diesel engine for a battery. But as we've heard, it's way more complex than that. First, we will need the infrastructure required to keep those electric machines charged. Operators and fitters face a steep learning curve on how to use and maintain these new machines. And as you're about to hear, even the manufacturers of allied equipment are having to rethink their approach.
It has been a wonderful day for me here, to be here with a lot of people around, perfect weather and a lot of action everywhere. It couldn't be better than this. Of course, the trend all over now is to reduce energy consumption one way or another. We see it from the electric cars, and we can also see it now from the working sites that more and more goes electric, and then our products also has to be prepared for the future. We have since 2 years developed a new control system that try to reduce the fuel consumption and also be prepared for the electric machines for the future. So this is absolutely what we're talking about. It fits us really, really good. Our product behind me now is customized for the Volvo excavator and to fit their expectations also for the electric machines for the future. I have seen all of the races, all the heats today. It's been wonderful. So here we can compare the efficiency for the drivers to go around the track as fast as possible, together with the operators of our excavators to have the same simultaneity with all the movements and also reduce the energy.
Now, if anyone can tell me why the coupler on an electric machine is different to a coupler on a diesel machine, I'd love to hear about it. I'm probably missing something. Demolition contractors within easy reach of Shrewsbury, lend me your ears because this one is for you. $2 million of your finest English quids have been set aside for the construction of 13 new homes on a site in Racecourse Crescent that is currently the home to the Shrewsbury Training and Development Centre. Tricus Construction has been given the green light on the new build portion of the works, but before they can make a start on the project, all the existing buildings on the site need to be demolished, and at the time of broadcast, a suitable demolition contractor has yet to be appointed. You can find out more about this project lead and countless more just like it over at buildersconference.co.uk. Alternatively, you can speak directly to the ever lovely Siobhan Jones using the number displayed just there at the foot of your screen. She's standing by to take your call. And while we're on the subject of the Builders Conference, don't forget, and I actually have a comment to go with this, if you bear with me for 1 second, I'm going to throw it up on the screen. Don't forget, if you would like to hear about the true state of the UK construction nation, be sure to tune in tomorrow when I'll be joined by none other than Builders Conference CEO Neil Edwards. This month's business briefing is a bit early because I'm headed off on holiday, but I checked the BC Live League table this morning and it already stands at an impressive and unseasonal £5.5 billion. With another 4 working days of the month still to come, there is still a chance that it could top the £6 billion mark before September begins. So fingers crossed on all of that. Now, let me just remove Siobhan's telephone number from the chat, and let me press, I don't know, this one. From February 1990 until a tragic accident in October 2003, theirs was the most visited show in Las Vegas. The magicians Siegfried and Roy were synonymous with Sin City and with the Mirage Resort and Casino in which they performed. Nearly 20 years after Roy was attacked on stage by a tiger during a performance, big cats remain a key attraction of the Mirage Hotel. And I can prove that. I actually saw them in the zoo in which the cats still live when I was at ConExpo back in 2020. However, following the death of Roy in 2020 due to COVID complications and Siegfried in 2021 from pancreatic cancer, the house and property the duo shared has fallen into disrepair, and now it has fallen under the gaze of property developers.
Well, the home of the iconic magic duo Siegfried and Roy is about to be demolished, but what's going in its place is what is being widely debated. Anchor Paulina Butska joins us now live after speaking to residents about the decision following a very emotional Las Vegas City Council meeting. Paulina.
Hey Tricia, so I am standing on what used to be the Siegfried and Roy compound, and part of this acreage is already being developed, but there is about 12 acres that is under debate right now on whether it should be used for commercial space or residential space. Take a listen. Home is where the heart is, and as far as Mayor Carolyn Goodman is concerned, this piece of property that once belonged to the late Siegfried and Roy is where the heart of Las Vegas lies.
Having known Siegfried and Roy so well for some 25 years, and I have the greatest admiration for the Kalita group, but I am going to vote against this, I have to tell you, out of the fact of preservation of two people who went ahead and everything they did was about nature and preservation.
In Wednesday's City Council meeting, the remaining 12 acres of property not yet developed was slated to be turned into commercial use. But developer Kalita Group reimagined the space as a multi-family residential property, bringing this new idea in front of City Council for approval.
It is planned today as service commercial, which would be intense commercial. We are asking to go to multi-family designation, where we'll provide 334 dwelling units on the site.
With lack of park on the proposed property and surrounding area, the mayor voted against the developer. Her sentiment echoed by Charlie Weber, whose property sits along the part of land that's already being developed by the Richmond Group. He's also attended this morning's meeting.
Because normally our politicians do this thing where if some shenanigans are going on, they keep it tight. She's the only one that said.
But with the deciding vote, City Council member Michelle Fiore approved the plans and suggested the Kalita Group's development commemorates the late performers in some way on their property.
I need you to see about getting approved, calling this like the Siegfried and Roy place.
As for Weber, he would have liked to see Siegfried and Roy's legacy live on in a different way.
Commercial actually would be easier because you can deal with one property manager or whatever else if you have problems. When you have dense housing, you have hundreds of people to talk to. I know damn well everybody who wants to rent a house or for Airbnb, they'll buy up a lot of these properties. And then who do you get? People who really don't have any skin in the game. They don't.
And Tricia, while they did get approval today, the developer, there is no word yet on when they will break ground. For now, reporting live, I'm Paulina Butska. Tricia, back to you in the studio.
Looks like the big cats might finally get them in the end after all.
Sorry to interrupt the guy with the funny glasses, but if you're enjoying this video, please hit the like button as it helps our channel. Or, better still, share this video with a friend or a colleague. Thank you. Right, back to Beardy.
Right, that pretty much wraps up the main part of this morning's show. Just 2 more to go until you get a well-earned break from my daily rambling. I'm going to roll the outro in just a second before leaping gazelle-like over into the chat, and it's been very busy today, so looking forward to doing that. I'm going to see what you're all saying today. If you can't stick around for that, then please stay safe, look after yourself, your family, your friends, and your colleagues. Have a great day, and thanks for watching. But if you do have the time and the inclination, I'll see you after this.